Hello, and welcome to Intelligent Pod, the show where big ideas meet everyday life. I'm your host, Sophie Lane, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. Whether you're tuning in on your morning walk, during your commute, or just taking a moment for yourself, thank you for making Intelligent Pod part of your day. Today's episode is all about something I think we could all use a little more of: the art of long-term thinking in a short-term world. In a world where everything is instant messages, instant noodles, and, let's be honest, instant gratification, how do we zoom out and take the long view? How do we stay focused on what matters years from now, when the world keeps nudging us to care about what's happening in the next 5 minutes? We're going to unpack why long-term thinking is so crucial, how our brains are wired for short-term gains, and what we can actually do to build a more future-focused mindset. I'll share some fascinating research, a real-life story or two, and of course, some practical tips you can start using right away. So let's dive in. Let's start by painting a picture. Imagine you're at the grocery store. You have two choices: a box of cookies or a bag of apples. The cookies look delicious, the packaging is colorful, and you know they'll taste amazing right now. The apples? Well, you know they're better for you in the long run, but they're never as exciting in the moment. Sound familiar? This is the classic tug-of-war between short-term pleasure and long-term benefit. Now, multiply this decision by 1,000. It's not just cookies versus apples. It's whether to watch another episode or go to bed early. Whether to save that extra bit of your paycheck or treat yourself. Whether to start learning a new skill today or put it off until next week. Our lives are filled with these choices, big and small. Statistically, we humans are not great at thinking long-term. In fact, a recent study from the University of Pennsylvania found that only about 8% of people actually achieve their New Year's resolutions. Why? Because long-term goals require us to delay gratification and overcome all those tempting short-term rewards. And it's not just a personal challenge. Our culture, our economy, even our technology, everything seems to be speeding up. Social media gives us constant updates. News cycles last minutes instead of days, and companies are pressured to show quarterly profits rather than invest in the future. It's no wonder we're all a bit short-term focused. But here's the thing. The most meaningful achievements, whether it's building a career, raising a family, creating art, or even just living a healthy, happy life, take time. They require patience, persistence, and the ability to look beyond what feels urgent right now. So why is it so hard? Let's take a look at the psychology behind it. Our brains are actually hardwired for short-term thinking. Psychologists call this present bias. It's an evolutionary adaptation. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors needed to focus on immediate needs: finding food, avoiding predators, keeping warm. Planning for the distant future wasn't as important as surviving the night. But in today's world, this wiring can work against us. We're tempted by things that offer quick rewards, even when we know, rationally, that waiting would be better in the long run. This is why saving for retirement is so tough, or why we procrastinate on projects with distant deadlines. One fascinating study I came across was conducted by Dr. Walter Mischel at Stanford, the famous marshmallow test. You might have heard of it. In the study, young children were given a choice: eat 1 marshmallow now, or wait 15 minutes and get 2 marshmallows. The kids who were able to wait, years later, they tended to have better life outcomes, better grades, healthier relationships, even higher incomes. But here's what's really interesting. Later research showed it wasn't just about willpower. It was also about trust. If the children believed the adult would really come back with a second marshmallow, they were more likely to wait. This suggests that our ability to think long-term isn't just about self-control. It's also about whether we trust that our future efforts will pay off. Let's shift gears and look at the scientific perspective. Neuroscientists have found that when we imagine the future, our brains actually treat our future self almost like a stranger. There's less emotional connection to that version of ourselves. This makes it easier to make choices that benefit the me right now, rather than the me 5 years from now. It's almost like we're making decisions for someone else. But there's hope. New research from UCLA found that when people spend time visualizing their future selves, imagining not just what they look like, but how they feel, what they care about, even the wrinkles on their face, they make better long-term decisions. So the more vivid and real your future self feels, the more likely you are to act in their best interests. Now, let's talk about culture. In some societies, long-term thinking is built into the fabric of life. Think of Japan, where businesses often make plans for decades, not just quarters. Or indigenous communities, who talk about making decisions with the next 7 generations in mind. Compare that to the culture of now in so many Western countries. The difference in mindset is huge, and it shapes everything from personal habits to global policies. Let me share a real-life story that really stuck with me. A few years ago, I read about a man named Ronald Read. He was a janitor and gas station attendant in Vermont, lived a simple life, never made a huge salary. When he passed away at age 92, he shocked his community by leaving an $8 million fortune to local libraries and hospitals. How did he do it? By investing small amounts over many decades, living frugally, and letting compound interest work its magic. It's a powerful reminder that long-term thinking isn't flashy, but it's incredibly powerful. So, what can we do? How do we actually practice the art of long-term thinking in our daily lives when everything around us seems designed for the short term? Let's get practical. I've got 5 actionable strategies you can start using today. 1. Visualize your future self. Take 5 minutes to really imagine yourself 5, 10, or even 20 years from now. What will you care about? What will you be proud of? The more vividly you can picture your future self, the more real they become, and the easier it is to make decisions that benefit them. 2. Break big goals into tiny steps. Long-term goals can feel overwhelming, so break them down. If you want to write a book, don't think about the whole manuscript. Just focus on writing 1 page a day. Small, consistent actions add up over time. 3. Automate good decisions. Make it easier to do the right thing. Set up automatic savings transfers. Schedule regular exercise. Prep healthy meals in advance. The less you have to rely on willpower in the moment, the better. 4. Reflect on past successes. Remind yourself of times when you stuck with something and it paid off. Maybe it was finishing school, saving for a trip, or learning a new skill. Use those memories to build confidence in your ability to follow through. 5. Surround yourself with long-term thinkers. We're influenced by the people around us. Spend time with folks who inspire you to think big and plan ahead. Join communities or groups that share your values. Remember, long-term thinking doesn't mean you never enjoy the present. It's about finding balance, taking care of yourself today while also investing in your future. As we wrap up, let's recap the main idea. In a world that pushes us toward instant gratification, developing the art of long-term thinking is both a challenge and a superpower. Our brains may be wired for the short term, but with a little intention, a little planning, and a lot of patience, we can train ourselves to take the long view. Whether it's your health, your relationships, your finances, or your dreams, remember that the small, steady choices you make today are shaping the future you'll live in tomorrow. So here's my closing thought for you. What's one small thing you can do today that your future self will thank you for? Maybe it's making that healthy lunch, calling a friend you haven't spoken to in a while, or setting aside a few dollars for a rainy day. It doesn't have to be big. Just take that first step. Thank you so much for spending this time with me on Intelligent Pod. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review wherever you listen. It helps new listeners find the show. For show notes, resources, and more tips on long-term thinking, head over to intelligentpod.com. And if you have feedback or a story to share, I'd love to hear from you. Email me anytime at sophie@intelligentpod.com. Until next time, keep thinking intelligently. And remember, the future is built one thoughtful choice at a time. Take care.